What's going on, everybody? Patrick Auger and Matthew Wells here for the Body Lock. And today we're talking about the PFL's roster. All the divisions have been revealed, and we're going to give them letter grades and let you know how we feel they stack up compared to some other divisions. So with that in mind, we're going to run through these. We'll give you our letter grades, and then we'll say which one we feel is the best overall or we're most excited for. And with that in mind, Matt, let's start with the newest division, one of the newest divisions added here, 2021 heavyweight division. Remember, this all takes place starting April 23rd, around the same time as Bellator, who's going to have their light heavyweight Grand Prix, which is it's so juicy. And that started a little bit earlier in April. But heavyweight division, it's been revealed. We got some familiar names in here. What do you think of it overall?
I think it's a decent roster for heavyweight division. Like you said, there's some familiar names in there. You got Vi Cavallo representing, in his craziness. One of the best jiu-jitsu heavyweights ever to compete in MMA, if not the guy. That's going to be like my favorite, I think. Obviously Isaev, however you pronounce his name, is going to be the favorite in a lot of people's eyes. But I think Fabricio, if he shows up with a lot of gas in the tank, he can make some noise. I'm intrigued to see what Muhammad Usman does. Kamaru's brother, big brother, much larger brother. He trains out here at Fortis and in Fort Worth with Stephen Wright. So I've been kind of watching him progress throughout the years too. Justin Willis, also UFC vet. So there's some names that we're familiar with on here. It should be an interesting watch to see to watch it play out. It could be worse, could be better, but I like where they're at though. I like where they're at. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I am. Look, just running through these guys. I mean, I think this is a pretty solid, heavyweight division. You have Ante Delija, I think. Man, I'm sorry if I butchered this name. From Croatia, who was tried to go over to the UFC, right? Got signed by the UFC before, the PFL season got back in swing, and they denied it, and it was a whole big deal. But now he's set to go on the 2021 season. He's looked really good. I'm actually excited to see him. You already mentioned, Werdum, of course, is amazing. Usman's, little big brother, as you mentioned. I'm excited to see what he looks like. Justin Willis, can't believe he's still back and fighting, but there you go. Big Pretty is back in a professional MMA organization, so that'll be interesting. Isaev looked great last year. I think that, or I guess the year before rather, since 2020 got canceled. But yeah, no, I mean, I think this is a solid roster. I'm going to go ahead, looking at all these guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this a solid B. You know what? I think this is better at average. I think this could rival Bellator's, honestly. So I'm going to give it a solid B. Yeah. What grade you giving it?
I'm gonna give it a B+. I'll give it a B+. If we're doing pluses and minus, or just
I almost went B+. That's fair. That's fair.
All right, yeah. I'll go B+. I'll go B+ on it. Could be an A, but I think if we had one more bigger name on there, it would need. I think we would need that to give it an A. But I'm going to give it a B+. It's solid. A lot of interesting matchups can come out of this. Some strikers, a lot of wrestlers as well. So, tournaments are usually won by the guys that can preserve their health the most. So yes, the wrestlers are probably going to rule the day here, but we'll see.
Probably, but yeah, either way, solid start. Let's move on to the women's lightweight division. So you've got, Kayla Harrison, of course, the women's lightweight champ, the star of the PFL. You got her in there. You've got Cindy Dandois as another name that we know fighting in this tournament. Then you've got some familiar faces from 2019, Larissa Pacheco. I believe Mariana Moraes also fought last time. I'm not sure.
I believe so.
I believe so.
I'd have to pull up the records to see, but I'll do that right now, actually, while you're talking.
Okay. Well, yeah, looking through it, not bad. It's hard though, given it's women's lightweight, right? We've seen bigger weight classes in women's divisions struggle to get fighters. We've seen the UFC have this problem. Bellator has by far and away the best 145-pound division in women's MMA. And they've got most of the people you'd want to see maybe move up to lightweight to have this fight under contract, with Cyborg, you got Julia Budd, all those guys. And I mean, it's hard to look at this division and say, wow, it really pops. So I'm going to give it you've got a couple of names there, but even then I'm going to give it a C-. That's generous C- on my end. How are you feeling about it?
Okay. So for the record, Maryse did not compete in PFL. I was thinking of her because I did see her compete. I was like, I saw her compete somewhere, but that was actually back in Invicta when I saw her fight. That was a couple of years back. So that's what I was thinking of there. In terms of this whole division and the rankings, I'm not impressed with it, but it is women's lightweight. There's not a lot of talent. So I'm taking that into consideration here when I give my grade. However, offset from the absolute beast that is Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison alone should give this an A, right? She's that strong of a competitor. However, this division also has, although she's a very nice lady, much respect to this young lady outside of the cage. Inside of the cage, I cannot stand to watch her compete. And that's Cindy Dandois. She is the worst striker I've ever seen compete in the cage, in the octagon. It's but like we say, the thing is that women's MMA is still 10 years behind men's MMA. I mean, right. that proves true when Cindy Dandois can go out there and get wins.
Rough. Ooh,
so she definitely brings down the grade quite a bit. So I'm gonna go with a solid B here. Solid B.
Okay, solid B. That is generous.
And if you take Kayla Harrison off, it's probably an F. So that's how strong Kayla Harrison is.
That is a big push for Kayla Harrison there. Let's go to welterweight. Now this is interesting because we have 3 fighters of the welterweight that are not revealed. So this could get better or worse depending on who they throw in there. But you've got Ray Cooper, who obviously won in 2019. Rory McDonald, the biggest name, biggest first signing before you got Anthony Pettis of Werdum. That right there was a massive signing for PFL. You've got Sabudu Sai, who I love. I've loved talking to the guy. I can't believe he fought with messed up vision for so long. David McCall. I mean, you've got a pretty solid list of names here and people revealed. I'm going to give this one a tentative B. I think there's enough excitement between these guys. These should be some good fights. Could go up if you get good people. If it's 3 people that are kind of or that it's, look at the records and it's like, what are they doing here? You could lower that. But right now I'm going to say what we know. I'm going to give it a B. How about you?
I'm actually going to be a little bit more generous with this one. When you have a division with Rory McDonald and Ray Cooper, those are just all action type of fighters that everybody loves to watch. And you have a Magomed. Anytime you have the double Magomed name, I mean, listen, you gotta mark out for that, right? Plus they have the 3 TBA spots. So like you said, that could very well be a very good thing. I'm going to go ahead and bump this up to an A-. This is an A- for me. And slight kind of on the curve a little bit too, because I think this is the best division that they have. So they kind of get an A by default.
There you go. He's already given the spoiler for the best division. Before we go through the rest of these, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. Make sure you know when we're dropping these hot predictions. And when you want to see Matt just be overly generous to the women's lightweight division in PFL, just, hit that bell. But let's move on here because I disagree about that being the best division, and we'll get to why here. But lightweight division, featherweight division is all have left. Lightweight division, I mean, you got Natan Schultz, you got Anthony Pettis, who just recently signed. You got OAB, or OAM, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said OAB. Auburn Mercer, Clay Gullard, Martian Hell, Johnny Case. Ooh, this one for me is a solid division. This is looking pretty good. I'm gonna give this just because I think even though some of these guys struggled a little bit in the UFC when they're vets or in other promotions that they fought in, they've also had some really exciting fights, all of them. I'm going to give this an A-. This to me is a, Martian Hell was very, very good. He struggled in the UFC, but was very good outside. Johnny Case has had some electric fights. OAM, same thing. You got there. Pettis, we all know Showtime. I think he can flourish here. And Natan Schultz has looked dominant as hell. Matt, what do you think about this one?
No, it's the lightweight division is super strong. Super strong. Yeah, like you said, Anthony Pettis. I mean, if he can channel championship quality Anthony Pettis, that's going to be something special to watch in this tournament format. But like you said, also with OAM, I was really high on him when he was in the UFC. I liked his game. He had a little bit. I don't know the right way to say it, I guess, without being disrespectful, but he was an awkward, he has an awkward personality, that weird sense of humor. But I liked his game as a fighter. I thought he deserved another shot. But like you said, also Johnny Case is fun to watch. Marcin Held as well. He was another guy that I was real high on for a little bit there too. I like this A- because I still think the welterweights are just a little bit better. All right, fair enough. It depends on what Pettis we get. I don't know what Pettis we're getting, and that's a huge thing here.
That's a good point. Last but not least, featherweight division. Lance Palmer, multiple-time champion, looking to just continue that winning streak, but got some real tough competition this year. You got two fighters we don't know who they are yet, but you've got Jo Sung Bin, who's a big prospect out of South Korea. You've got Brandon Loflane again, who it looked phenomenal. Everyone says he should have got a contract on Dana White's Contender Series, and instead he's come to the PFL and looking to showcase his talents there. Mavled Kabu, you know what? I botched it. You know who I'm talking about. But he's very good. Shaman Moraes, who I was very high on in the UFC. He didn't pan out as well. But still Tyler Diamond, also phenomenal. This is a stacked division with two fighters left to go. Mm-hmm. So for me, this gets an A-, and this is my division to watch. I think this is the best division personally, just because those last two fighters could be big names, and without them, that's still a super exciting featherweight division that I want to watch pretty much all of the different matchups that can happen in that.
Yeah, I think the featherweight division is going to produce the most exciting fights across the board for sure. A lot of names, like you mentioned, that I'm interested in seeing. Shaman Moraes for one, Bubba Jenkins. I've always liked watching him compete. Brendan Loughnane as well. Fun to watch. And of course, Lance Palmer. I mean, listen, Lance Palmer is a hard out for anybody. He's not always the most exciting fight to watch, but it's just like anytime you tune into his fight, it's like, okay, he's just going to systematically break this dude down. And it's kind of interesting to watch it happen. Doesn't have very much like replay value, but it's interesting to watch him work. And obviously, it's championship quality. So yeah, I think across the board, this is going to be the most exciting division, fight by fight. So for that, I'm going to give it an A-. A- still sticking with welterweights as my favorite, but
yeah, I think an A- is appropriate until we know the last two. If they pull out some big names, I mean, then that jumps up for me, or just, if not, then I think it could still stay at an A-, just how good it is. Let us know in the comments what you think of our grades. If you think we graded fairly, if you would change a couple of grades, which division excites you the most? Who do you want to see? What matchups do you want to see? Who do you think is going to win? That'll be covered in a different video once PFL gets rolling. But by all means, let us know how you feel about it, and we'll see how this goes. But I gotta say, most exciting PFL season yet on paper for me.
100%. And you know what? It had to be because of what happened in 2020, obviously with the pandemic and them releasing people and, paying people, like stipends and all that kind of crap. It's unfortunate, obviously, that happened, but they had to come back strong. They had to come out of the gates with some fire. And I think, considering all things considered, hopefully everything stays together. And these TBAs are good names. Maybe it's some of these names that we just saw released from the UFC, possibly. Who knows? Who knows?
Great point. Let us know in the comments who you think it may be. Who are these TBAs? That's an interesting point. We may have to do a video on that, so stay tuned.